Let's work out an example together. We're going to go through everything here. So starting off with what is our new subnet mask going to be in order to create 4 subnets. So right now we have a 192.168.1.0/24 network, and we're going to break it up into 4 different subnets. So I need to use my equation 2 to the power of s, and that's going to have to equal 4 subnets. So we're going for 4 subnets here in this particular case. So what is s going to equal? Well, s is going to equal 2. So s is referring to the number of bits we have to borrow in order to create 4 subnets. So now we take our original subnet mask of 24, and we're going to add that to the number of bits we have to borrow. So now our new subnet mask is a /26. So the new subnet mask is a /26. So we have 4 subnets, each now are a /26. All right, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. /26 is our new subnet mask. All right, so what else do we want to identify here? We want to identify the number of hosts that we're going to have in each subnet. So right now, our network portion is a /26. So if I take 32 and I subtract from 32 26, what's the result of that? That's 6. So 6 here represents the number of host bits that are left over. So the equation we used for host bits is 2 to the power of h minus 2. So 2 to the power of h minus 2, where h is the number of host bits left over. So in this case, h is 6. So 2 to the power of 6 is 64. Minus 2 is going to give us a grand total of 62 available hosts in each of these subnets. So we know now we have 4 subnets. Each of these subnets is now a /26, and we can have a total of 62 hosts in each of these subnets. But the next phase here is to identify the subnet IDs. We need to know what the subnet IDs are in this particular case. So that is based on our subnet mask, the new subnet mask. So the new subnet mask is a /26. So since we have /26 as our new subnet mask, we need to now figure out the block size. So what are we counting by? And in what subnet are we doing this counting? So what I want to do here is I want to break this out here into binary for myself. So I'm going to have 8 bits in the very first octet. I'm going to have another 8 bits in the second octet. I'm going to have another 8 bits in the third octet of the subnet mask. Why? Because 8 plus 8 plus 8 is 24. And then what do we need? Well, we need 2 more. So 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32. All right. So there's my 32 total bits for my subnet mask. What is the decimal value of this bit position? Well, the decimal value of that bit position is 64. So we're counting by 64. And in what octet are we doing this counting? We're doing the counting in the 4th octet, because here's our first octet, our second octet, our third octet, and this is our 4th octet. So we're counting by 64 in the 4th octet. So let's now put all of that together to figure out our subnet IDs. So in this example here, we said that our address was 192.168.1.0 was our starting address, and it is a /26. So that's still our very first address here. It's our very first subnet we're dealing with. And we said we're now counting by 64 in the 4th octet. So if we're counting by 64 in the 4th octet, we now have the next subnet as 192.168.1.64/26. Let's now do the next one. Add 64 to that. What do we get? We're counting by 64, so 128 /64. So there's our next /64 /26, not 64. All right, /26. All right, let's get that right. 26. There we go. Now, what is the next subnet? The next subnet is going to be .192/26. All right, so there's the 4 subnets that we have. 192.168.1.0/26, .64/26, .128/26, and .192/26. So those are all the subnets that we have now in this particular example. So what would the next step be? The next step would be to figure out who's who, where they live. So what are the valid IP addresses, and what are the broadcast, the directed broadcast addresses as well.